between my allergies and that frickin' flu shot, I'm all but prone.
Okay, Mel. Here we go. We are live. Good afternoon, Texas bikers and bikers all across the nation. This is Texas Biker Radio number 375. And yes, we are live. My name is Mel Popeye Moss, my co-host Mel O.G. Robbins, who's with us via satellite telephone or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, good evening, Mel. How are you doing?
Doing very well.
Okay. Today we come to you with sad hearts. This week we lost one of our own, our New Mexico chapter president, Guns. And Mel, do you want to tell a little bit about Guns? I think you know him probably better than I do.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you, he's a guy with a great amount of tenacity. He's a giant among men. I mean that both literally and philosophically. He was always, very goal oriented, and he had a lot of tenacity. I mean, when he wanted to get something done, he stuck to it. And I got to tell you, if it weren't for him, we probably wouldn't have that chapter up in New Mexico right now. But
Yeah.
He's got quite a crew he assimilated, and being the true leader that he is, he had somebody ready to fill his vacancy.
Yeah.
And to me, that's the true mark of a leader. They always make sure that there's somebody there that can carry on for them. It's a true tragedy. It goes back to, whether or not a guy wants to wear a helmet.
Yeah.
Is basically what it's all about.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I even hate seatbelt laws because we're all adults. We ought to be able to make our own damn decisions. Both you and I survived our infancy and our juvenile years without seatbelts and propped up in the back of pickup trucks and in the back of windows, passenger windows and cars, stuff like that. But this is a clear-cut case where had Guns been wearing a helmet, he would have survived the accident.
Yes.
As far as I know, there were no other broken bones on him. He just had some massive head injuries. They were coming off of one freeway up in Albuquerque onto another. I'm presuming he was either on 25 or 40 and going on to the other. And that's got some pretty mean interchange ramps there.
Yeah.
And they came around the corner. He had a prospect with him, and traffic was at a standstill.
Yeah.
The prospect managed to miss the traffic. Guns didn't. And he hit the ground and did a lot of rolling and got a severe brain concussion from it and just didn't survive it.
Yeah. And now let me say this. Guns was one heck of a Second Amendment advocate. The write-ups that people have done about him, just an incredible patriot that he was. And I'm telling you, he's going to be missed, not only by the chapter in New Mexico, but in our organization as a whole, and where we want to take things in this country. The battles that we're going to be having ahead, Guns is going to be missed. I promise you, he will be. And
yeah, we just had our national meetup.
Yeah,
a lot of guys met him for the first time. He's a true brother, a true gentleman. I've never known him to treat anyone badly. Everyone just instantly loved the guy.
Yeah. Yeah. I was the same way. The first moment we met him, uh, just an incredible human being, and man, just too soon, too young, and you're right about the helmets. If you
Now
start you start rolling
there is
on that
another
highway, go ahead.
yep, there is another small tragedy involved in this. Guns was single.
Hmm.
He does have a daughter. I think she's a young adult. I've never met her, but the issue is, I guess a few months back, Guns went down with his motorcycle on a ride,
Hmm.
and he didn't get messed up, but the bike did.
Hmm.
And I think he thought for sure they were going to total it, so he just stopped making payments on the bike. And it turned around. The insurance company decided they were not going to total it, and they repaired it. So now he's got like 3 months of payments to catch up on, and he's juggling balls a whole bit.
Yeah.
And he let his life insurance policy lapse.
Oh, good Lord.
So now the daughter has nothing to bury him with. And here's a guy. He's doing the right thing. He's donating all of his organs. As a matter of fact, I understand that tomorrow is the day for that.
Mm-hmm.
And when that's done, he'll be cremated, and then there's going to be a memorial service for him in Albuquerque on Saturday. And
Mm-hmm.
our chapter up there is diligently attempting to raise money. They need to raise $3,500 to get this memorial done. And so what we've done is there's a donation posted on Facebook. We've got it. It's on a lot of our public Facebook pages, on Sons of Liberty Riders MC public page. It's also posted on Texas Biker Radio Facebook page. So if any of you out there care to donate a couple of bucks, it would be much appreciated. And I'm sure the daughter would be forever grateful.
Yes. And we would be grateful, our club
Yeah.
as a whole.
I know a lot of guys on the club are pitching in whatever
Right.
they can.
Yeah. Yeah. Help us get there. If you feel moved to do so. Guns was a great guy, I promise you. A stellar individual and a patriot, like I said. All right, Mel, let's move on to the business at hand. And I want to talk a minute about DPS officer Tice.
Oh, our favorite subject.
Yeah.
Officer Nipple Ring.
Yeah. Now, I guess there was Mel, I have a problem when one veteran throws another veteran under the bus. And then I also have a problem with really no evidence, nothing but a gang database, which we all now realize is just hearsay from biased individuals. When he can jerk your CHL away from you, can jerk your weapon away from you, and then cause you to be on trial for criminal carry. When at the time he did this, there was no proof that Bandito Patrick had ever committed a crime at all. And I look at this, and we get the information about Patrick, and we get the information that he was vetted as a non-criminal by the state. He had a stellar 24-year career in the Army, honorable discharge, Purple Heart, 2 Bronze Stars, other meritorious awards. And this guy, this Officer Tice, who does not have a stellar record. Oh, but he was in the military too. And there comes my problem. That just because this law officer says, "Well, I'm going to enforce the law," well, it's written, so I'm going to enforce the law. I'm an honorable guy. Well, really, let's talk about his adventure with the 2 19-year-old girls, where he got in trouble. Had to get in on the nipple ring episode. In other words, they told these girls they had to take their jewelry off, all of it. It included nipple rings. Well, there was a lady, from what we understand, there was a lady law officer that was in there working with these nipple rings. Well, Officer Tice had to get in on the act. He couldn't keep his hands to himself. And he got in trouble over that. It was in the news. We're not telling anything that's any secret. It was in the news, and it happened to be one of those girls. Her dad was a police officer, I believe. So then you begin to wonder, well, how did he get out of that? How did he get out of it? Did he get special treatment because he's a law officer? Did they do the old Texas 2-step and just send him off to another department, another area? Get him the hell out of sight? Send him to Milam County?
Now, I'm not going to mention any names or any specific individuals, but didn't we learn that he was actually sent to Siberia, Milam County, because of his past devious deeds?
I believe we did hear that.
And we heard it for some pretty damn good sources.
Yeah. And so I'm not going to buy that he's an honorable guy. I'm just not going to buy it. One thing, no veteran should ever do this to another. Now, I know probably on the side of the road, he didn't know that, but he didn't know anything on the side of the road other than what was maybe in a gang database. Or was he put into a gang database right there and then? You have to be wondering.
Well, here you have, once again, an agency. We talk a lot about corruption within law enforcement, the justice system, the crap that goes on and how it gets covered up.
Yeah.
And here you have a state agency basically covering up something that an officer should have been terminated for.
Yes.
And what do? They just send him to a different duty assignment and lets it go.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. It's absolutely incredible. But, Mel, what we're seeing now up here in this area? Of course, we've seen for months now bikers being taken to jail for minor traffic violations based on these laws, these like CCP 61.02, and also backed up, I guess, Mel, by the Patriot Act. They can jail you for, in this case, minor traffic violations. Mel, it's like I was talking the other day, and this was with Legendary. He said I think he did an article. Hey, you might beat the rap, but you're not going to beat the ride. Meaning that they're going to put you through hell like Patrick is going through, even though he's committed no crime. Or like these other bikers that have up here where they've been taken to jail, and also in Killeen, Texas, where they've been written up for minor traffic violations, put through all kinds of crap. Court costs, fines, motorcycles being impounded. And so, but without any evidence that anybody's committed a crime other than a traffic violation. And some of the traffic violations, Mel, that they're talking about are questionable. That's like the one Willie Probst mentioned the other day with the turn signal, where the turn signal timed out before he got to the exit, and then he was stopped didn't give a turn signal entering the highway or exiting the highway, one or the other. But I've had that happen to me 1,000 times, where the damn thing times out. You look down there and you see all of a sudden it's not on.
Oh yeah, it either times out or you turn the wheel a certain way and it cancels the signal.
Right. So it happens again and again and again. But we're being stopped, harassed, and maybe taken to jail over it. And that's just flat ass wrong. It's just flat wrong. Whether it's based on a gang database or based on what you're wearing, it's just flat ass wrong. And we're going to have something to say about it. But up here in the North Texas area, where the police departments are now finding themselves in trouble over murder charges, Mel, murder charges. One in Dallas, one in Fort Worth. But yet, Mel, we're being...
bunch of yeah.
Go ahead.
They all think they're 007,
Yeah. And now we have the Fort Worth police chief up there begging for people not to paint the police department with a broad brush, when that's exactly what they're doing to us on a daily basis somewhere here in this state, somewhere in this country. It goes on day after day after day. And we're pushing back on that narrative that they use to try and destroy our lives, destroy our clubs. It's not going to work. Man, I get riled up about this stuff that I see going on again and again and again. And especially when everybody just kind of lets it happen. Oh, well, for the first time, we've got people standing up with us. And we hope that continues, because we've got more to do. More to do, not only in this city, in this state, across this country. We got a lot to do in order to reel some of this stuff in, Mel. And at the very least, be treated fairly like human beings. It's like was said at the rally the other day. Hey, look, the police have him doing, not putting his kickstand, holding on to his handlebars, can't take your helmet off, can't move, as if you're going to jump off that bike and attack them. That's just not happening. but we're being treated like shit. Like we're all criminals, painting us with a broad brush. It's freaking incredible, man. It's incredible. And so, as they beg, don't paint us with a broad brush. We got to answer that. We got to answer that. Don't paint us with a broad brush. That's what our answer is to him and others like him, whether they're in that damn Capitol building down there in Austin, or whether they're the local police chief or even one of these sheriff's offices around here that are following the plan of getting everybody into a database. And so this is our fight. Not only for our constitutional rights, but our rights to even exist and breathe. Now, Mel, today I was talking to our lawyer, and I was talking to him. I said, "Well, look, we may have to get down there in front of these fusion centers where they collect all this data, where we know they've got innocent people in these databases, where we know they're not that it's just they're just hearsay, shouldn't be used in a court of law at all, none of it, because it's flawed. It's a flawed system." And everybody's heard me say it's a flawed system because it's the data comes from biased individuals who've been indoctrinated into the narrative. This is where we're at. So now I was talking to our lawyer today. I said, "Well, look, I said, we may have to get out here in front of one of these fusion centers." I said, "What do you think?" I said, I think that's a surefire way to jail." He said, well, Popeye, he said, "Didn't I hear you say y'all protested one time in front of a FBI building?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "There's your answer." Oh, hell yes. Oh, hell yes. So we're looking for a physical address of one of these fusion centers. Or I don't know, we may need to go down to the one in Austin and do a little rally, a little protest out in front of it about the erroneous data and the fact that our club is in that database in Houston, and they're not a 1% club. They're not a criminal organization. They're a political organization who supports the Constitution and those who've had their constitutional rights violated. What better cause is there than that, Mel? To rally in front of one of these fusion centers. What do you think?
Precisely.
I'm sorry if I'm on my soapbox.
There's got to be one up here in the DFW area.
Oh, you would think, right?
Got to be.
Yeah.
Somebody knows.
Yeah. Well, we know there's one in Houston, but, hey, look, they said you can't talk to us. We're all out undercover. Don't you know? So we'll look at it. We'll figure it all out. And then at some point, we'll execute it. And so, everybody, be ready. It's going to be fun. See, Mel, did I mention Patrick's new trial dates? I didn't.
No.
Okay, what we got going on? What we got going on per the county clerk's office, who has said that has another pretrial date of November 15th and a trial date of December 16th. We're going to double check that and make sure that's correct. And we'll check with Patrick's lawyer.
It may well be delayed again.
Yeah, because well, we got our own reasons for believing they might do that again and again. But Mel, that all falls into what we were talking about, is that that you can't beat the ride, because this Patrick has been going through this for quite a while now, and he's spending money on lawyers' fees, everything else,
Oh yeah.
And so this is what we're talking about. You can't beat the ride they're going to give you, because this is by design. This is by design. And I do believe with all my heart that the courts are in on this, all the way from the governor's mansion on down to your local police department. They're in on this hell. All of them. And shame on them for doing this shit. That was so much for a speedy trial, right? And so much for a judge having the balls to do the right thing, because he knows what's going on. And I hate to think that a political party would be behind this, but I'm going to be asking. The political season is coming around real soon. It's already underway. And I'm going to be asking, hey, are you guys in on this shit? You can bet we will be. And of course, we're going to be using the data we collected. Mel, let me ask everybody right now, check to see if you're in the gang database. Everybody that's listening to us, check to see. You can do it at texasbikerradio.org. It's right there on the front page. Check and see if you're in the gang database. It'll even give you instructions on how to fill it out. It's pretty simple. Check and see if you're in that gang database every quarter. And Mel, we have the big biker rally coming up in Galveston here pretty soon. 1st of November, Lone Star Biker Rally. And if you're any place near where bikers gather up, where motorcycle clubs are at, you can end up in one of these databases and not know it. We are suggesting that everybody check and see if you're in the gang database. And if you're not, do it periodically. We do it every quarter. Do it periodically. Like I said, especially if you go around where other motorcycle clubs, and that could be at any Harley Davidson dealer. It could be anywhere. Because they can throw you into that gang database without you even knowing it. Well, you don't even have to be profiled. Because we had that happen to one of our members that hadn't been on a motorcycle in 3 years, due to head injuries. Oh, more head injuries, Mel. Now, we've had our share of that stuff. We really have. But, man, participate in this stuff. It's just something we have to do. And it's something we have to correct. It's not going to happen on its own. Don't think that the law enforcement is going to, and the legislature is going to have an epiphany and say, oh, wow, look, we got to straighten this out. That ain't going to happen. We got to push it to happen. And we got to have you helping us. Whether it's sharing these programs, whether it's donating at texasbikerradio.org, because this does things we do cost money. Oh, Mel, and by the way, I'm going to be, while talking to our attorney, we come up with a few new strategies over these body cam videos that all of a sudden these law enforcement entities are not wanting to give up the body cam videos of traffic stops. Now, we're not talking about any major crimes here. We're talking about damn traffic stops. Say Dustin and his loud pipe ordeal. Yeah. I'll just tell you how fair that stuff is. Remember when Mel, remember the video where they showed the cops in Florida that were putting notes, making little caricatures and everything else on the tickets, sending a secret message to the judge? Guess what? It happens here in Texas, but they're not smart enough to use little characters. They actually write it down. Oh, yeah. So, the judge may have his mind made up the minute you walked in the courtroom because of something that SOB wrote on the ticket. Now, the fact is, when you get a ticket, make sure you get that you know what is on his copy of the ticket. That's really, I would really think that's important, wouldn't you, Mel?
Absolutely. You want to make sure all your bases are covered. Don't assume anything.
Exactly. You've got to protect yourself. There's nobody there to do it for you. And that's the reason we encourage you to get a body cam or one of these camera pins to where the minute those red lights come on or you're approached, you hit the button and it's recording. You don't have to worry about letting go of handlebars or anything else. You do it while you're stopping. And that way you've got your own video and you're not dependent on trying to get a body cam video from a law enforcement entity that either wants to redact a whole hell of a lot of it or not give it to you at all like they're doing right now. But I'll be busy this week with a new plan to attack that. And it's going to be interesting, to say the least. But in the end, Killeen PD is going to give us those body cams. We're on a mission now. We're going to get the body cams from the loud pipe stop, in spite of their criminal investigation over loud pipes. Just saying. Meanwhile, murder and mayhem is happening all over the state. Some of it by crazy people, some of it by teenagers, some of it by law enforcement. But guess who's not causing murder and mayhem? Who would that be, Mel?
Oh, Lord.
Really hard. Motorcycle clubs. I mean, things that happen with motorcycle clubs, those incidents happen far and few between. Not on a daily basis like they would make you believe. We're not out there robbing and pillaging and carrying on and doing all kinds of stuff. Not the stuff they say. And in Patrick's case, he was trying to do the right thing. Went and got him a CHL, was vetted by the state, honorably discharged. I mean, what more can you do, Mel?
Oh, I know. I can imagine. Now the recommendation is don't carry a weapon. Don't put yourself in jeopardy.
Yeah, that's infringing
and that's
on
wrong.
our. Don't you think that would be infringing on our Second Amendment rights? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I was just going to say that's wrong. You've taken away everyone's basic right to have a firearm.
Yeah.
You've taken away their Second Amendment right. And after the state has given it to them, on a contrived situation or scenario with a criminal gang database that really hasn't even been vetted.
I know.
So I'm hoping this gets challenged long and hard with the case in Milam County.
Oh, I do too. This is really important. The case in Milam County is. It really is. And so we'll see.
And Patrick knows that. That's why he's hanging in there.
That's why he's hanging in there. He's doing the right thing. He's saying, hey, I want to go to court. I don't want a plea bargain. I don't want any crap like that. I want to go to court. I did nothing wrong. And I would even venture to say, Mel, 7 miles over the speed limit, that's bullshit. That's what that is.
That's pretty crappy.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, everybody, that gets us put into another category on YouTube, but we're not Boy Scouts. We could get a lot worse.
He's looking for any excuse he could find.
Yeah.
To pull him over.
Exactly. And that in itself is really not an honorable thing, don't you think?
And who's to say he was really doing 7 miles an hour over?
That's true.
Only Officer Nipplering.
That's right. I wish I could. And I don't know. I'm not going to say that right now, what I wish I could do, because I might go do it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it would be interesting to find out how Officer Tice got out of that. Just curious. Maybe Park should go looking at that. Just saying. How did he get out of that? We have our opinions, but those are just opinions. Let me see.
Yeah, to do something like that to a young lady, that guy has zero integrity.
That's true. Especially in today's age of women going after men for the the things that happened maybe 20, 30 years ago. Times were different when males would make advancements that they shouldn't make. And nowadays that stuff is just off limits. You would think he would know better. But then again, he's a police officer. He's a DPS officer. By God. They'll probably stop me tonight, Mel. So anyway, um, man, what else? What else we got, buddy? Did we
I think
cover
that's
it all?
pretty much it.
We covered
I'm-
it all already.
We're headed for New Mexico for that funeral this
That's
weekend.
right.
So
That's right. Everybody, please ride safe. Be aware of your surroundings. Be man, just make it home. Make it home. Our brother was taken from us.
expensive riding 101.
Yeah. Our brother, way too young, way too soon. It's a tragedy for all of us. And we've been distraught over the past few days. And we want to thank everybody that sent their condolences. If you can spare a few bucks, we do have a donate page up at Sons of Liberty Riders MC. The family has limited funds, and they need to raise a little money for Gunn's final resting place. And everybody, have a great evening.
Be safe.
Ride safe. Bye-bye.